welcome and thank you for joining us. It's Monday, June 10th. You're watching News 2 on VIA Channel 4 and 504. I'm Leslie Kamisiang. Topping our stories tonight, senators vetted legislation to have funding provided to both public hospitals in the territory to pay down their debt to the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority. But WAPA Chief Executive Officer Lawrence Kupfer wants all outstanding debts to be paid in full. The CEO, who also serves as the executive director of the authority, stated that WAPA is unable to pay its own debts to vendors and time is running out.
Pandora's box was open this morning.
The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority stated that they suffered significant financial loss.
What's the status of, or is there an investigation going on with some millions of dollars that was wired to some offshore account or something like that?
According to a written statement from the authority's media team, WAPA was a victim of a phishing scam where two payments totaling $2.17 million was authorized to pay an apparent legitimate vendor.
We have reported that incident to the FBI and it is being investigated.
WAPA, along with several government entities, met with legislators on the appropriation of funds from the Virgin Islands Medical Assistance Program retroactive claim funds, which will make available a one-time appropriation to over 20 programs and bill payments that include a sum of over $9 million to the Governor Juan F. Louis Hospital and Medical Center to be paid directly to the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, as well as the sum of over $4 million to the Snyder Regional Medical Center to be paid to WAPA as well. But Senator Janelle Saru implored that WAPA's financial woes isn't solely the fault of the VI government.
And we are going to draft legislation today to pay off the hospital debt to WAPA. But WAPA, the decisions have been unconscionable and it has been wrong on the backs of taxpayers. You are at fault and you have to own it. When you come in here, own it.
Lawrence J. Kupfer, the executive director and CEO of WAPA, stated in his testimony that since the last Public Service Commission electric rate investigation concluded in July 2017, the authority has sustained substantial declines in its customer base, which has translated to a decline in its overall sales and have greatly affected its ability to pay its fixed costs and debts.
This is contributed due to many factors as far as offline users and large companies not being back on the grid, right? And some converting or investing in solar energy.
Yes.
WAPA's CEO requested that the legislature pay the entirety of its outstanding debts to the authority. Kupfer stated that critical vendors like Vital, that supplies propane, and system maintenance to the authority's gas processing facilities, have indicated that they will no longer continue to provide their services to the authority if the amounts owed are not addressed. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
The month of June is National Homeownership Month, and around this time every year, the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority hosts its annual Housing Exposition. The event, which has gained momentum over the last 5 years, aims to make information available to current and potential homeowners. Over the weekend, the Housing Expo was held on St. Thomas at the Tutu Park Mall, and it was packed with attendees and exhibitors alike. Major banks and lending institutions were there, as well as housing management and leasing organizations. There were also construction contractors and insurance companies and a host of other establishments that caters to homeowners. This year's theme is empowering and restoring hope in our communities. News 2 spoke with Virgin Islands Housing Finance Executive Director Daryl Griffith, as well as a couple of exhibitors. Here's more.
So all around today, you're going to get information on housing products. You're going to get information from DPNR and a host of other sponsors and banks, and a lot of information about what you can do as a homeowner, what you can do for those who are aspiring to be homeowners, and what we're doing to make a difference in our community, especially as we recover from the hurricanes. There's a ton of valuable information out here today.
I always look forward to Housing Finance Authority put on its expo, along with the Housing Authority and all stakeholders that have anything to do with home ownership. I believe that having a home is the most important investment that anyone can make. And many of our young people in the territory have always dreamt about owning their own home, but it is very difficult. And these types of activities helps in attaining that reality.
My name is John Gargiello from FEMA, and I have been supporting recovery here for a long time, and we have the opportunity to build back safer and stronger with all the residents in the territory. And what we're talking about is using the latest codes, the latest standards, and using the latest permits and inspections that are available to the public.
And we are sharing with our members in the community what ARP is doing within the Virgin Islands, but also sharing with them a publication called the Home Fit Guide that they can actually find out if their home is actually fit the way it's supposed to be. Also, we are sharing great information around the fact that the governor of the Virgin Islands has signed up the U.S. Virgin Islands into the ARP network of age-friendly communities. And we are also pushing around a prescription petition. It's around medications and asking Congress to make sure that they protect seniors and taxpayers from price gouging.
For the second time in a month, the 33rd legislature has decided to change its organizational structure, although this time the changes are less drastic than the last revamp. Senate Majority Leader Senator Marvin Blyden made the announcement in a press conference on Thursday. Last month, the Senate ousted Senator Kenneth Gittens as Senate President and removed Senator Donna Fred Gregory as chair of the powerful Finance Committee. Last week's changes are less dramatic, merely reshuffling the chairmanships of committees and announcing a new 9-senator majority. Senator Gregory, however, who was assigned the chairmanship of the Rules and Judiciary Committee in May, also a very influential committee, was removed last week and assigned the Education and Workforce Committee chairmanship instead. After last week's announcement, the Majority Caucus will now include Senators Blyden, Alicia Barnes, Allison DeGazan, Novell Francis, Myron Jackson, Javon James, Stephen D. Payne, and Kurt Viale, and Independent Senator Janelle Sarro. Blyden noted that it's not uncommon to include a non-Democratic member in the majority caucuses, and that various minorities have chosen non-Democratic presidents, vice presidents, and majority leaders in the past. The minority caucus is now Senators Kenneth Gittens, Stedman Hodge, Dwayne DeGraff, Donna Fred Gregory, and Oakland Benta. The top leadership is unchanged. Senator Francis remains president, Senator Jackson is still vice president, and Senator Barnes is sales secretary. Senator Blyden remains majority leader. Senator Blyden blamed the lack of communication and collaboration as the main reason for the Senate reshuffling. He said decisions were being made and negotiations were being conducted on behalf of the majority and the legislature without the knowledge and approval of the caucus. We'll keep you updated. Coming up next, highlights from Kayak for Kids, plus the rainbow flag flew high at the second Pride Parade on St. Croix. We'll have more when we return. Welcome back. The streets of downtown Christiansted were alive Saturday morning with the colors of bright rainbows thanks to the second annual St. Croix Pride Parade, part of LGBT Pride Month, which commemorates the Stonewall riots which occurred in New York City at the end of June in 1969. While the parade might be considered small, there were 17 entries. What it lacked in size, it more than made up for in sheer joy and enthusiasm. Unlike last year, there were no protesters, only shouts of joy and encouragement from onlookers as the parade marched up King Street and came down Company Street. Parade participants wore bright costumes while dancing in the streets to classic songs that are popular in the LGBT community, such as YMCA and It's Raining Men. As an added bonus, the members of the cast of Good Hope Country Day School's Mamma Mia performed to Dancing Queen. In addition to the marchers, there were various vehicles and a team of horses, some dressed as unicorns, courtesy of the Crucian Cowgirls. Upon reaching Government House, parade participants were showered with bubbles from a nearby patio. It was a joyful and important day to celebrate the diversity of the people in the Virgin Islands, according to Governor Albert Bryant.
Today is immensely important to Virgin Islanders and important to me. I think that even in our anthem it says, the Virgin Island March says we hold out a welcome to one and all. It's important for people to understand as governor I represent all the people all the time. So I'm having a great time today, and like I said, I'm thinking about putting in a permanent bubble machine here in Christiansted so we can have fun every day. So it's great for me to be able to represent down here, especially right in front of Government House. Just want to say that it's a good day. Everybody's having a great time. Let's hope everybody gets home safe.
Also on St. Croix this weekend, the Fort Frederick Beach served as the launching point for the 19th annual Kayak for Kids, a benefit for the Queen Louise Home for Children. Nearly 24 kayakers donned life jackets, grabbed their paddles, and got ready to glide across the glass-like waters on the west side of St. Croix. From kids to seniors, everyone was looking forward to kayaking the new course this year, from Fort Frederick to Cowboy Beach to the Mason Pool and back to the beach at Fort Frederick.
Today we have our 90th annual Kayak for Kids event, where we raise funds for Queen Louise Home for Children. This event has been championed by JT Torres from Villa Morales and Luther Edwards from our former board chair, actually, and it's just grown over the years. We didn't do it last year because we were waiting for the coastline to recuperate a little bit, but we're so happy to be out here again today. So our goal is to raise $20,000 to support Queen Louise Home for Children. The community has been amazing in supporting us. We have many sponsors who have for years supported this event, and without calling out all those names, I want to say thank you to you for your support of the children. I also want to say thank you to the kayakers. We have quite a few of them. Most of them have kayaked before, some of them have not, but they're out there. And so we just want to say thank you for supporting the kids again. Next year will be our 20th, and I'm hoping that every kayak on the island will be out here. So it's a beautiful day, and just remember next year we're coming back out to you. So thank you, St. Croix, thank you, kayakers, thank you everyone for supporting Queen Louise Home for Children.
Looks like that was a ton of fun. Immediately after the 2017 hurricanes, the territory had to deal with tracking its elderly residents and monitoring their well-being. As the hurricane season begins this year, some community members are making sure that no senior citizen is left behind if and when a disaster strikes. That's why they've launched Ride Out the Storm, a new service that will provide trained volunteers who will stay with elderly residents throughout the worst of any hurricane. They've stopped by the studio to tell us more about the program.
It's all about helping the elderly, during this term, like to be there with them and trying to get things in order, put them in order, help them in any way if they are disabled, especially if they are disabled.
We're going to be providing a service that has never been offered before. We are actually going to have volunteers ride out the storm during the storm and be a comfort for our elderly, for the physically challenged. They're going to be trained. They're going to be trained in CPR, first aid. They're also going to be equipped with the new first responder phone for communications. This incentive, I'm just so excited to be a part of it So the next thing we need to do is build up our volunteers.
This is very important for our community nationwide as well, because everybody knows that storms and natural crises can be very devastating and terrifying for anyone, especially our seniors and those with challenges. Most important, they should be our priority. We like to say our children are our priority, but our seniors and those with challenges are our priority. And if we come together and form this organization and it takes effect, we will be able to provide preparedness before, during, and after the storm.
What a great initiative. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
I hope you had a wonderful day today. The weather not too bad, a couple of showers around, perhaps a storm, but all in all, things are looking great across the Virgin Islands. Here is our satellite. You can see there isn't much going on. And a closer look, maybe a few clouds. Can't rule out a shower. If it happens, it's going to be light and brief. For tonight, mainly clear. 80 degrees for that low temperature. In St. John tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Make sure you put on the sunblock. 88 degrees for the high, and in St. Thomas will reach 88. It's going to be nice and bright. St. Croix 87, mostly sunny conditions. Now for the marine forecast, not bad. The Atlantic side waves 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. And for the Caribbean side, we're seeing waves 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. No problems. Just be careful as always. And also those rip currents, those northern facing beaches, they're a little bit feisty right now, so keep an extra eye on the kiddos. Here we are with the extended forecast. We'll see some sunshine each day with a chance of a light brief shower, especially Wednesday through the weekend. Nothing major. And our temperatures, they will be hovering right around 88 to 87 degrees for our highs each day. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you for that. Coming up next, News 2 Sports with Gary Anthony. Don't go away.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Congratulations to Julian the Hawk Jackson. The St. Thomas native and three-time world boxing champion was officially enshrined into the International Boxing Hall of Fame on Sunday in Canastota, New York. In 61 professional fights, the Hawk, as he was famously nicknamed, went 55-6 with a whopping 49 knockouts. And on November 21, 1987, Jackson knocked out Inchul Bak to win the WBA junior middleweight title. On November 24, 1990, he knocked out Harold Graham to win the WBC middleweight crown. Then, on March 17, 1985, Jackson knocked out Agostino Cardamone to claim the vacant WBC middleweight championship. His record in title fights is 10-4 with 4 knockouts, and Ring Magazine named him the greatest junior middleweight of all time in 1994 and the 25th greatest puncher of all time in 2003. Congratulations again, Mr. Jackson. You are a true champion. From the ring to the hoop, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight in Toronto, with the Raptors holding a 3-1 advantage over the defending champion Golden State Warriors. Now, if the Raptors win tonight, they will be crowned the new NBA champs. Whether Kevin Durant and his injured calf suit up for the Warriors tonight is a game-time decision. I say it just won't matter. Toronto to win, they're on a roll, and Jurassic Park will go wild. Finally, the baseball world is offering thoughts and prayers to David Big Papi Ortiz. The former Red Sox star was shot in the back at a discotheque in his native Santo Domingo on Sunday night. Big Papi is in critical but stable condition, and police have one suspect in custody. Get well, Big Papi. The world needs you. That's it for sports. Leslie, back to you.
We'll see if KD makes a return tonight. I think if he does, the Warriors has a good chance of winning the game. But that's it for our show tonight. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and on via Channel 4 and 504, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Follow us on social media, tag us on any stories you want to see on the news, or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm Leslie Camisian. We'll see you next time.